All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Skill Up Show. Welcome to the Skill Up Show, and it's just 2 days to the new year. Who is excited? If you are excited, then you're on the same table with me because I am super, super excited about the new year and all that's we have in store for the children, all that all that is waiting to unfold in their lives and in our lives and all of that. All right, so welcome to the Skill Up Show, and it is the last episode for the year 2024. Why shouldn't I be excited? We've been here, I mean, the show has been here for the longest, and we've pulled up every episode. I mean, we've pulled off every episode in 2024. Basically every episode in the year 2024. There is so much to be grateful for, there's so much to be thankful for, and I am so so excited that we are here on this last episode of the Skill Up Show. If you are here, don't just be in the background. Say something. Join me in the comment section in this episode. Join me in the comment section. Let's make it very interactive. Ask your questions. Let's talk. There is a lot to talk about, and that is why we decided that there is no better topic for today's show than the topic that we will be sharing on and we will be discussing. All right. We are looking at how we can guide preteens to create effective goals and an active vision board. How can we do this as parents? Let me begin by using a quote from Walt Disney, a very simple one. If you are that parent, if you're a parent, this should be the flag that you are flying this year. You should be that person that reminds your child to dream it, wish it, and do it. Yes, this is what I'm going to be doing with the children that I work with in the mastermind circle, our peer mentorship and accountability group for young children and preteens. All right, this year I am going to be flying that flag. I'm going to be screaming at the top of my voice that you can dream it, you can wish it, and you can do it. So we're going to be dreaming, we're going to be wishing, and we're going to be doing. This is it for this year. If you are with me, if you are catching the replay or you are here right now, I don't you go ahead and invite a friend, a loved one who needs to be here. All right, share them on Facebook, tag them on Facebook so that they can join us on Facebook. Whatever you do, make sure on this show alone that you have invited someone that can invite someone to be a part of this, because today we're looking at how we can guide our preteens to set effective goals for themselves. I'm going to give you a minute or so to invite those you have to invite while we do a little housekeeping here. All right. All right, so let's go. We're looking at how we can guide our preteens to create effective goals. I wrote a post this morning, and in that post, I was addressing parents of boy children, right? All right, we're having the conversation about not saving your boys, okay, aka not bailing them out. And I said that there are certain things, there are five important things that I think that as a parent, in fact, not just things that I know that as a parent of preteens, if you get down to it right now, you are going to be equipping and preparing your preteen to step into their teenage and young adulthood as powerhouses. And I am not even guessing this. If you can get started on these things already right now, then you will be positioning your young children and your preteens for such a time as when they become teenagers, where they are highly productive people and, of course, very forward thinking. In fact, if you want to raise wholesome children, this is what we are talking about. I was talking about boys, but of course, it's the same principles and it applies even for your girls. All right. It's important that we look at this issue. I talked about teaching your children about hard work, the place or the value of hard work. I talked about teaching them about focusing on hard and soft skills, helping our children get all the skills that they need to navigate. We talked about teaching and raising them to be empathetic, how to be leaders, teaching them leadership skills and modeling all of this to them. And of course, teaching them how to preserve themselves. We're going to come back and look at this one by one. Now, the question is, I have said these things are very important. If you can teach, it encompasses many other areas when we can focus and we teach our children along this line. But now we are looking at your young children. I'm talking about your 6-year-olds, even your 5-year-olds sometimes. I'm talking about, I use 5, 6-year-olds because these are the children we work with. In the mastermind circle, we work with children who are, 5+, up to kids who are 14 years old. We graduate the children to other programs and send them off to teenage programs when they become 14 years old. So I would refer to this group of children, 5, 6-year-olds, when I'm talking about young children, and then preteens, of course, your preteens just before teen. Your 10-year-olds, 11, 12, 13, 12-year-olds are your preteens. All right. So we are looking at this group of children, and I'm saying if you want to raise this group of children to become highly productive, resourceful, awesome teenagers, then you have to start teaching them these 5 points that I mentioned. I said, teach them about the value of hard work, teach them about, honing the skills, the talents and the gifts that they have, honing them into excellent skills. Teach them the value of empathy, how they can show empathy towards other people. Teach them how to be great leaders. And then, of course, teach them to preserve themselves. The question is, how do I begin to teach my 5-year-old these things? How do I make my 8-year-olds learn these things? How would my 13-year-old learn these things? And this is what we are going to start with. How do we start teaching our children to know these things, or how do we go about teaching our children these things? This is where the power of goal setting comes in. Dear parents, your child is not too young to set goals. No child is too young to set goals. Not even your 3-year-old is too young to set goals. Because the truth about life is, at every point, we are trying to achieve something. At every point, we have a goal that we're trying to execute. So for your 2-year-old who takes his plate to the kitchen to wash that plate, there is a goal that that child is trying to achieve. And that goal could perhaps be that the child is trying to ensure that they wash and they keep that plate where the plate is supposed to be. So at the point where the child picks it off the table, or right, the dining table, the floor, or wherever the child has just finished eating, the child begins to walk towards the kitchen, there is something that the child is hoping to achieve at the end of the day. Now, you will see that child make a mess, while they're trying to wash the plates, they could fall on the way, anything could happen on the way. But ultimately, the child has got a goal, and that goal is probably to get that plate cleaned and returned to the position where the child has seen that plate, or the position where the child took the plate from, or the position where the parent took the plate from. Now, that process towards achieving the goal is where we come in. That process towards achieving the goal is what is important, right? But as far as a goal is concerned, right, even your 2-year-old can set goals, or they have goals or visions in front of them whenever they're trying to do something. So let's bring it back to our young children and our preteens that we're talking about. What is it that we want to achieve in these children? What is it that we want our children to achieve? What goals do these children have for themselves? What visions do they have for themselves? What is the child seeing? What can the child see? What do you want for the child? If we can put all of this in perspective, then it means that we can set goals to achieve them. Remember, I said it's that process. It's the process towards achieving the goal that is important. And how are we planning for that to happen? That's what this is about. So, yes, we want children who can understand the value of hard work. We want children who can understand soft skills and hard skills, and they can hone whatever they know to becoming excellent in those skills. We want to raise children who are empathetic. We want to raise children who are leaders. We want to raise children who will self-preserve. How can we get them here? All right, how can we get them here? And we have just said, by having them set goals that will allow them reach this vision. This is why goal setting is important for everyone, even for your young children. Now let's look at how we can get our young children to start setting goals. By the way, do you know that we have a goal setting, a vision workshop coming up soon? All right, if you're a parent of a child between 7 and 14, I am not just here coming to tell you stories of the things that are not possible. For everything that I'm talking about here, we want to help you start it. Okay, so listen to this class with an open mind, knowing that there is something that can be done. Listen with an open mind, knowing that there's something that can be done, and that we have got solutions to help you kickstart this process. Because I know that when we get children to that place where children begin to understand that they are the pilots, or they are the captains of their lives, where children begin to understand that they have a huge role to play in their own lives, where children begin to understand that they are the most important factors in the dynamics of their journey into becoming, then we have positioned them to be everything that God has created them to be. The challenge is that a lot of times we don't hand them this possibilities or responsibilities early enough. A lot of times we don't even make them come to the realization that they have a huge role to play in their own lives. A lot of the times we are saving them and we are bailing them out, and we have all kinds of people around them making things happen in their lives. So by the time the children come to the consciousness that they are supposed to take charge of their lives, they are already so old that they don't have a lot of the skills and the competencies that they need to lead their own lives. What we are saying is they can begin to know these things, understand these things, and start taking baby steps towards leading themselves beginning today. Whether that child is 2, 3, 4, 5, and especially if your child is 5 to 13, where the age where we work with them directly, or we can help and support you to achieve these things in the children. So why not? It is possible, and we can do it. First thing you want to do is you want to brainstorm. All right, so this is the beginning of the year, and it's a good time, not necessarily because it is the time that this must be done. Okay, not necessarily because it is the time, or this is the best time, or that we must join the bandwagon of everybody setting New Year resolution and all of that. No, but because it is a good time for for you to build a pattern. All right, so you can actually believe very strongly in pattern and in systems. So you can create a system where this is done at the beginning of the year, right? So for you and your family, it's just a system where we do this at the beginning of the year. Meaning we can do this from February, we can do this in March, we can do this in December, we can do this at any point in, but because of all that happens, during the new year and all of that. So it's a good time, right, for you to maintain or remember, that system or that pattern. So you can decide to use this time as a good opportunity, not because you are following every other person sets. Right here, we can come out of this in the next few seconds. Sorry, you can see me, you can hear me. This, I don't know, my system is glitching. All right, sorry about that. I went off for a few seconds there. All right, so as I said, not because it must be done during this period, but because you want to put a pattern to it. So it could be something that you do. Sorry, one second. All right, I am so sorry about that. I got totally thrown out of the studio. I'm sorry about that. So we will just go right into continue the conversation. I'm so sorry about this. All right, so we were talking. I'm so sorry about this. All right, so we're talking about what to do, right? Because now we know that our children are not too young to set goals, and that if we can position ourselves as parents to guide them and to direct them, then we bring them to the knowledge of their role in their own lives. We help them to understand that they are the chief or they are the captains of their lives. We make them understand that they are the one constant in their own lives, and that the earlier they start directing themselves, the better it is for them to master the process to becoming the best version of themselves or becoming everything that God has created them to be. So, if we must raise or if we will raise wholesome children, it's going to be dependent on how early we get our children to start taking the lead in their own lives. The earlier they take the leads in their life, the better for them. The faster they understand themselves and become aware of who they are, they can now understand who they are, what they are capable of. They can build their competencies, they can understand their values, they can understand their emotions, they can understand all of the things that can make them improve themselves and begin to direct their own lives. So it's important that our children are introduced into the process of goal setting, or the practice of setting goals, right? Effective ones at that. And then, of course, knowing what to do to achieve those goals. I started by saying, if you have your 1 year old or 2 year old who has just finished eating their food, and the child picks up the plates to go and wash the plates, take the plate to the kitchen, and all of that, that child already has a goal. If you can, I mean, if the child can speak, or if you can teach the child how to express themselves, if you sit and have a conversation with that child, you will realize that there is a vision that that child has, and that vision could be that the child wants to get that plate that they have just finished using, to have a meal, back to the place where they have seen it. In fact, if you can sit, watch the child, make it possible for the child to access everything that they need to accomplish whatever goal they have. For instance, you have prepped your environment in a way that is easy for the child to navigate. What you would see is that child will go through just watch the child. You will see the child will go through the process towards achieving the vision that the child had from the beginning. And watching them, you could just see that child go through washing the plates, whatever, and then the child will place the plates right where the child has seen that place, over and over again, especially if the child is in a home that there is consistency. All right. Now, if children who are just 1 or 2 years old if 1 year olds and 2 year olds can do this, what does it tell us? It means that everybody can actually visualize, and if given the chance or taught the right way, all right, to plan, then they can actually achieve that vision. Now, for this 1 year old, all you need to do as a parent is to teach them how to go through that process in a way that is excellent, how to go through that process in a way that is effective. Because as far as the vision is concerned, that child or any other child who picks their plate and goes to the kitchen to drop them probably has the same, especially if this has been modeled. The child has seen it, this has been modeled in front of the child over and over again. Now, how the child does it is another thing. So one child could do it well, another child may not achieve washing the plates properly, another child may not. Do you understand? So there are different approaches to that, achieving that vision. But by and large, if you can just sit and watch, you realize that the child will go through the process to achieving, whatever that vision is. How well that process is done is is what makes the difference. So what we are saying is your 5-year-olds can have visions of their own too. Your 10-year-olds can set goals towards achieving whatever it is that they want to see in their lives. Whatever it is that is the vision you have for them as a parent, that you have been able to bring them to the consciousness of trusting and believing, or whatever it is that is your family goals, right? Every child, every one of your children can actually work towards achieving this if we can put them on a path and we can guide them, right, to plan to achieve these goals, whatever these goals may be. Are they academic goals? Are they goals in the area of their social skills? Are they goals in the area of emotional intelligence? Are they goals in the area of whatever area, financial goals, spiritual goals, whatever goals you are? Whatever goals it is, whatever vision you have for your children, whatever visions the children have for themselves, whatever goals you're aiming to achieve as the child is aiming to achieve, or you're aiming to achieve as a family, the goals are achievable. That's what we're saying. We can work towards achieving those goals. Okay. And that's what this session is about. How we can get our children in the place where they can create effective goals. All right. And of course, they can plan towards achieving those goals. All right. And then, of course, how they can what tools can be used. So in this class, we're going to be talking about the vision board as a tool to helping our children actualize their goals. How can we make that vision board not just another picture on the wall, but how can we make them become active? All right, how can we create vision boards with our children, or how can we get our children to create vision boards that are active, basically? All right. I started by saying in this class that as a parent of a preteen, and I say this as someone who knows what works for your preteens. I say this as a motivation and support expert that has focused on working with this group of children for over a decade. All right. Your preteens are in a phase in their lives where it is important that they are being trained, that they are seeing models, all right? That you're modeling the right thing, that you are teaching and you are training, all right? And I said, if we can focus on teaching and training them in these 5 areas during their preteens, it means that when they grow into their teenage, when they become teenagers and adults, right, and young adults, you would have a resourceful teenager or young adult. You will have a wholesome teenager or young adult. You will have a teenager or young adult who is highly productive if you can pass them through these 5 areas, or you can get them to start setting goals that will help them improve or will build them in these areas that I have mentioned. All right. So we've talked about what you can do. Okay. So I said number 1 is you want to get them to you want to get them to brainstorm. So when you're brainstorming, you are looking at the areas where they want to set goals. You're looking at the areas where your children have got gaps. You're looking at the areas where your child is struggling. You're looking at the areas where you need to build the child on. You're looking at the areas where the child has got interests, right? They've got interest or talents. Now, when you look at these areas where they have gaps, the areas where their competency is not, is now formed, the areas where they have interests, and that there is a lot that they can build around there, the areas that they need in order for them to navigate life effectively. When you look at, during your brainstorming process, you are able to pick out those areas. And so these areas become the areas where you need to focus on and where you need to set goals. And that brings us to the number two thing. Okay, after finding out the areas where your children need to be supported, where they need to work on, where you need to build on, where they need to be trained on, then you want to set goals. What are the things you want to achieve in these areas? What are the vision that you have for the child in this area? What are the things that the child wants for themselves in these areas? So you're going to now go ahead and set smart goals in this area. Okay, you go ahead and set smart goals in these areas with the child, or you get the child to focus on these areas when they are setting goals. All right, I talked about the vision workshop. Okay, this vision workshop comes up on the 3rd. Usually we have this workshop for mastermind children, all right, our peer mentorship and accountability group. So it's the way we start the year. All right, it's a way that we start the year or kickstart the year for our mastermind partners, and it's a way that we launch the partners who have joined our foundation class, right? That's how we kickstart the year. But this year we decided, right, that we're not even going to charge for it like we do for outside the past. We said you can get on board, all right? You can get on board this vision workshop, provided the child is between 7 and 14. The child can join us for free, but there's a caveat to it. We want to ensure that as parents, we are already putting these children on a journey where the children understand the place of, goal setting and all of that. If you have not started teaching your child about goal setting, you have not started talking or teaching your child about motivation, there is nothing, they don't understand anything about personal development, inspiration, and all of that. Now, the child will come to classes like this and they will grumble and they will just be there because you have dragged them there. So, what we are saying is get one of our books. For every single book that we have, every single one of my books is pointing your child to self-motivation, being inspired by other people who have started the journey. There is no child that will pick any of my book and read, or you will read to the child, it will not trigger something within the child that will give the child or make the child want to learn or become hungry for for personal development and becoming more. All right, so that's why I was saying get one copy of our book or the bundle and get your child to that space where the child now sees the importance of this. And because we now know that you and the child are in that same space, then the child can join us in the vision workshop, because now we know that the child is there with an understanding of their why. So that's why we said for you to get on board, or for your child to join us for the vision workshop, the child should have read, or at least should be reading, all right, one of our books. So for the child, or for your child to join the vision workshop, you must get at least one of our books, all right, during this period. So you can chat us or reach out to us to get a copy. All right, check if you are on WhatsApp, you can check my status. You will see, my catalog, you would see our books and you can buy from there. If you're on Facebook, just look through our post. At the end of this session, you would even see, how you can get our book in the comments section. You can use that, or any one of our social media platform. You will find how you can get our books. All right, you can get them directly from us, or you can get them from one of our distributors. Our books are on Amazon. They are on our seller page also. All right, all you need to do is make payment for the book and then send us a copy of your proof of payment, and then voila, we'll send you the link to join, and the child can be a part of this vision workshop worth 10,000 naira for free. All right, just because now we're sure that the child has an insight, insight about the importance of goal setting. So when they come for that vision board, they come for the vision workshop, they come knowing the why. We don't do anything with children without helping the child understand the why. So it's the why that we're concerned about when we say get them a copy of the book. Okay, so when they start reading, inspirational stories about other young children, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds who are already making a difference in the world, the child will, something in the child will will spur the child, to want more. So that's what we are talking about. All right. So get that and let's get to it. And then the child can be a part of this vision workshop on the 3rd of January. Let's start the year hard. Let's start the year well. Let's get the children on that, in that space where they understand that my life is my business and it is serious business. Number two, so they set smart goals. Number three, you want to now help them create a pictorial, representation of the vision that they see. So that's where the vision board comes in. All right, that's where the vision board comes in. So you want to help the children create vision boards, but not just like every other person, creates a vision board by just sticking pictures to a surface. Okay, we want to get children to create the kind of vision board that the child understands. So the child is creating a vision board from the place of understanding. The child is creating a vision board that is active, that the child can interact with. Now, because the vision board was created from the place of understanding, because the vision board was born out of the child's vision, the one that the child created on their own, the one that the child has bought into, even if it was initiated by the parents. All right, the vision board that is not all over the place and it's not packed with too many goals. That's why in this vision workshop, we're going to be pointing the children to setting at least one goal. At most three goals. So we want the children to set one, two, or at the most only three goals, because we want them to be focused. So we will be teaching and we will be sharing with them why one, two, or three goals. So when they create their vision board, the vision board is focused. The vision board, the child understands every part, every bit, and everything about that vision board. The child is able to create right from their mind to that board. And so that board becomes an interactive platform, or becomes an interactive item for the child, where the child can practically stand in front of their vision board and have a conversation with God, or stand in front of their vision board and have a conversation with themselves. That's the kind of vision board that we want your child to create. All right. Then after that, right, the next thing you want to do is you want to teach the child how to affirm themselves, how to speak positively about their goals, their vision, and where it is that they are going to. You want to get the child to the point where the child can actually self-talk themselves to doing the things that they need to do. All right, these are some of the things that we're going to be teaching the children, and these are the things that you need to learn as parents, where our children are not just putting pictures on boards because we have learned, or because we know that vision board is a thing. So our children now think that it's an exercise where we just gather together, put pictures, we just laugh, and all of that, and that's about it. No, we want them to turn those visions, right, and create powerful words that can bring their vision to life. Powerful words that will remind them of where it is that they are going to. Powerful words that will keep them on track as they work towards achieving their goals. Okay, and then the last thing that they will learn to do, or that you need to get them to do, is to get them to do an evaluation. Your children must learn the power of reflection. You must guide your preteens to be able to reflect on their journey, reflect on their process, reflect on their achievements, reflect on their mistakes, reflect on their on every aspect, as they go through their journey. So when we work with children to create vision boards, we teach them, or we work with them to come back and assess where they are, come back and evaluate where it is that they are, so that way they're able to look at where they are coming from, how much they've done, where they are going to, and how far they are from where it is that they are going to. So these are very These are the steps, right, that you need as a parent, right, to get your preteen in that space. And these are the steps that we're going to be, looking deeper into, all right, even when we are working with the children at the vision workshop. Now, all of these things, vision board, vision workshop, all of this, why is it even important? I'm sure you'll be asking that. Why is it important that my 5 year, my 6 year olds, my 10-year-olds, why won't children not just be children? Why shouldn't they just be, and play and go to Christmas village and eat chicken and watch movies and binge on screens all through the holiday? After all, children should be left to be children, right? If you're on that table, yeah, come down, let's just. Right, it is important, very, very important, right, that our children, as I have said before, understand that the life that they have and the adults that they will become is dependent on what they know today and what they do today and what they build today. Children need to be told and they need to, be taught that their lives will not just bust, or adulthood will not just bust in, come bust in their faces. They won't just wake up one day and be adults, and then, of course, they will just know what to do as adults. No, it's something that we need to, we need to make clear to children. The child that you are today, the efforts that you make today, the things that you do today, the choices that you make today, how well you're willing to develop or improve yourself today is going to determine how resourceful or productive you are going to be as a teenager. And the teenager that you are is going to evolve into the adult that you will become. So, the adult that you will become is the child that you are today. I take that again. The adult that you will become is a child of the child that you are today. It is the child that you are today that will birth the adults that you will become. Now, if we know this as parents and we can pass this down to our children as early as possible, then our children will understand that they have a huge role to play in the adults that they will become many years from now. It's because we don't pass this message right to our children. That is why our children think that the only responsibility that they have is to download movies. The only problem they have in this life is to learn all the lyrics so that they can sound woke amongst their friends. The only problem they have in this life is to think and look for the trends in clothes so that they can dress up to look like every other person who is woke looks. They do not know that they are contributors in the future that they want. They do not know these things. So that's why they feel, oh, I'm a child. Oh, I'm young. That's why when they even want to talk to people or they want to insult people, they call other people old so that they can feel good with themselves that they are young. The earlier you start teaching or making your child understand that the adult you are about to become or that you will become not far from now is how much you are investing in yourself today as a child. So it is important, dear parents, that our children begin to see this, that they know this, and that they can apply this in their everyday lives. So, yes, it's important that that our children begin to walk that journey today. So that's part of the reason, okay? That's part of the reason why we are saying create vision, but set goals and all of that. So, number one, it will boost your child's confidence, all right? By setting goals and achieving goals, preteens experience a sense of accomplishment, which of course will boost their self esteem. When you are able to say to yourself, in 3 months, in 4 months, I'm going to be, I want to do this. I want to achieve this. I want to save this amount of money. I want to build this, my skill to this point. I want to be able to swim at the deep end of the pool. I want to be able to create this. I want to be able to creates this thing. Now, when our children are put in the place where they know that they have the power to speak into their lives what they want to see, and then we support them and guide them to create plans that will help them achieve this. And then we help them pass through the process effectively, achieving or building themselves every day towards that goal. I promise you, at the point where your child achieves that goal, see, we talk about confidence. You say, oh, this my child is not confident. My child has low self-esteem. A lot of times it's because they do not understand what it means to speak and to achieve what it is that they've dared themselves to achieve. Because the person that's been able to dare themselves and has been able to put in the work and achieve it, when you see someone who comes and says to you, you can't believe that person. You've gone through the process, you know you can. So why can someone come and tell you that you cannot and you will believe the person? You, that you have gone through it and you know. A lot of times our confidence is a level of our competence. You are not confident because you are not competent. When you are competent, you will be confident about that thing. So confidence is a measure of your competence. So your competency is what gives you the level of confidence that you have. It is the competency that you have that will make you stand in front of people and deliver what it is that you have, because you know that you are competent in this area. So when you teach children to begin to set goals, create plans, and achieve those goals, you are helping them boost their self-confidence. Yes, and this can start happening even for your 5-year-olds. It will help to enhance their focus and their ability to motivate themselves. Now I have a goal. Now I have something that I'm looking forward to. Now I have something that I want to achieve. Because of that, at every point, the child knows, I do not have time to hang around. I mean, your child walks into school, and in this term, he has positioned himself. I want to achieve this grade. I want to achieve this. I want to achieve that. At every point, if the child is able to create an active vision board and the child has your support to put them on track, and the child has the support of a community that helps them stay accountable, what will happen to that child is the level of distraction is not like the child who has no goals. The child with goals that are effective, the child with goals that they understand the why in this case, the child with goals that the child is a part of, not the one that you have forced them to create. Now that child is motivated because now the child is involved. A lot of times, some of us, it's not as if our children have never created goals. It's not as if we don't have vision boards flying in our homes, but because we've not been able to bring the child to that place where the child understands their own role in that vision board or in those goals that they are setting. Then the child goes about it, an entitlement mentality, thinking that it is your goal, not their own. So that's what we want to change. We want to get children to the place where the children begin to understand that this is about them and not about you. And the earlier you start doing this, the earlier you start doing this with your 5-year-olds, with your 8-year-olds, your 5-year-old may not understand all of it. Your 6-year-old may not understand all of it. By the time they are 7, they may just start understanding. By the time they are 8, 10, 12, I promise you they'll be sitting down in a good place because now they know. All right? So you are better off starting early, even if the child doesn't get it in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, than someone who doesn't even do it. And here you are with your 18-year-old who doesn't even understand the place of, setting goals and chasing that dream on their own. They are still there hoping on believing and trusting, right? Entitled to what it is that you have to do for them to achieve or become what it is that God has created. I mean, what it is that they are supposed to be. All right. So the earlier we start this, the better. So it will help our children stay focused and motivated. It will help them learn how to solve their own problems. It will help them learn how to solve problems. Now the child has a goal. Now the child has a target. Now the child has what's a vision in front of the child. The child's job is to seek ways to make these goals come to pass. The child's job is to seek ways to achieve their goals. While they are doing that, you realize that they are solving their own problems and, in turn, solving the problems of the people around them. Now, when we set goals individually and we set goals as a family, you realize that your children get into that space where they begin to understand the place of community and collective achievement. So, this is why in this part of the world, we're raising children who are self-centered. We're raising children who do not care about their society or care about anything that's happening around them. It's because we don't get them to the place of setting goals and building together as a community. So the child does not understand the place of community actualization or community community-based projects or anything like that, because the child is all about themselves. What I will eat, what I will wear, what I want, what makes me excited, what is it that, it's just all about excitement, food, and clothes. So we need to get to that place. If we're going to get there, then this is the time we need to get them to start setting goals and all of that. All right, it will help them, of course, promotes positive thinking. The child begins to think positively, about, what they need to do, what they need to achieve, where they need to go, and how to go about it. And lastly, the child will learn how to prioritize what is important. The child is able to prioritize what is important per time, because now they have a goal. Now, because they have goals and they have where it is that they are going to, they're able to prioritize per time what is important. When our children don't have goals and they don't have a destination, there is no vision, there is nowhere where they are going, you realize that these are the kind of children who become yes people. They become yes people because they say yes to everything. Because you don't have your own goal, that's why a friend is able to come and say, "Oh, I need you to do this." And then you follow friend A. The next minute, friend B needs you. Then you turn to friend B. The next minute is your auntie. Then you talk. So you're unable to focus on anything, that you are doing, because you do not have a destination, you don't have a goal, and all of that. So if you want to raise children who know how to say yes when they have to say yes and no when they have to say no, if you want to raise children who are not just about pleasing other people, you want to raise children who are not yes boys or yes men and yes women. You want to raise children who understand that yes is a full sentence or no is a full sentence. Then you need to get them to start setting goals and creating plans to achieve them, right? Because when you set goals, then you are busy. When you have a vision that you're pursuing, then you are busy. And so, because you have learned to prioritize, right, the things that are important per time, when other things come that are important, you are able to say, okay, maybe not now. I could do this at a later time, because you have a priority or a focus in front of you. So that's where the child learns how to politely bow down, how to politely turn people or things down, because it's not a priority at that time. So it's a great way to teach children how to stay focused on their priorities, and politely turn down offers, or turn down other things that come up, basically just because they have a focus. All right. So these are the reasons. At this point, I want to believe that now we know why it's important that our children, no matter how young they are, it's important that they set goals. So what's the next thing you want to do? You want to go ahead and register your child to join our vision workshop coming up on the 3rd. All right. Do not, I mean, if you have a child who is between 7 and 14, there is no reason why your child should not be a part of that workshop. Mastermind parents, of course, you know that this is your workshop, and so it's free for the children. So we're going to have our mastermind, partners right there. If your child is not in the mastermind, right, then all you need is to get one of our books or a bundle of our books. Every one of them, I promise you, is an amazing read. Every one of them will bless your child in its own way. And we have 8 books. We have 8 books, 4 in our Skill Up series and 4 in our Stories for Champions series. And we have a parenting journal and a parenting book. You can have all 10 of them. If you're buying all 10 of our books, you can get them at 35,000 naira instead of 39,000. So you have a whole, I think, 5,000, right? Instead of 39, instead of 40 or something like that, you get them for 35. So you have a whole 5,000 naira discount if you buy all of our books. Beat that. I don't know, can beat that. All right. But if you want a copy, you just, anything less than that, you just buy the books at the normal price, okay, which is always very fair. All right. So we have this one, Destined for Greatness. We have Wisdom Stories for Champions. We have Unlocking Excellence, an amazing read. We have Young and Money Smart. We have Bedtime Stories for Champions. We also have Playtime Stories for Champions. Then we have Christmas Stories for Champions. Amazing, amazing books. And then, of course, we have our journal. We have our children's journal, and then we have this amazing planner for parents and this beautiful mentor parents book where I chronicled my journey as a young parent, first time parent, all right, and what we did in the first 10 years of our son's life. So amazing books. You can get one or multiple copies, and boom, your child is in that workshop. Please don't let your child miss this. It's going to be a great way to begin the year. It's going to be an amazing way to pass down perspective, convictions to your child. All right, very key. All right, so let's look at some of these areas. I said teach your children the value of hard work. If you have preteens and your preteen does not understand the value of hard work yet, you are behind. You are behind. Your child is 10. Your child is 12. Your child does not understand the place of hard work. You are doing them a disservice. And what is this hard work that your child can start understanding today? Let your child understand that value is what makes you relevant. The value that you have, that you bring to the table, is what makes you relevant. Scratch whatever pop culture is saying. Scratch whatever these people, society is saying. The truth about it is, if you do not give out value and you do not have the kind of value that can transcend time and season, then you're going to be trending for a bit, and after that you will fizzle away. So that's why sometimes you look around and you're like, oh, this person that used to be so, where is he, what's he doing now, and all of that. That's why you hear, some celebrities, you hear how the celebrity, once upon a time, the celebrity was all over the place. And then the next thing you're hearing stories about how the person is, life is been tough, and all of that. So the truth about it is, if you want to, if you want to stay, if you want to raise children, and if you want to stay relevant, then we have to start building ourselves to be people that have so much value, that our value will transcend, the times and the season. All right. So raise your children to understand that, building yourself today, all right, learning skills today, building your competencies today is what makes you relevant. Teach them that true wealth is the wealth that comes from the value that you can create, that you can give. So let them understand that you are dancing on TikTok today. You won't always be able to dance on TikTok. right? Because a time will come where your dance on TikTok will be obsolete, because there will be younger people that can dance better than you can dance. A time will come where the content that you are putting out there, people will get tired of it, because it is something that they have. So you must be someone who is creating something, a solution that people will always need. All right. Let children understand that they need to keep building themselves. All right. They need to learn to do chores. They need to learn to take care of themselves. They need to learn to to know how to do the things that they need, right? They should learn how to achieve the things that they need, especially for their everyday life. So you love to cook, I mean, you love to eat, you must learn how to cook. All right. Don't depend on Auntie Agnes forever. If she's not around, you're not going to eat food. If mommy is not around, you will starve. You will eat all the biscuits and all the rubbish in the house, because someone is not there to cook for you. We must teach our children the value of hard work, the need to know how to do things for themselves. It's very key. And this is an area that you can point them as preteens to set goals for themselves. So your preteen can have just one goal this year, and that one goal can be that I want to learn hard work. Hard work can be a focus for your child. I want to build skills and learn to be hardworking. It could be. If you know how many things, how we can build a curriculum, right, on that alone for your child to work on right throughout this year, then you will realize that it's not about how many goals you put on your vision board. It's about sticking to one goal and grinding that goal in throughout the year. So when your children are setting goals this year, be focused. And if your child is a preteen, these areas that I am talking about are areas that you want to look at. All right. Hard work. The child wants to improve themselves. So the child that wants to focus on hard work is a child that wants to improve their competencies, is a child that wants to work on their personal development, is a child that wants to, work on being able to do the things that they need. So that child will be looking at self-management. He'll be looking at how to make his bed. We'll be looking at how to wash his toilet. We'll be looking at how to learn to cook. We'll be looking at cooking for themselves, cooking different meals. So by the time you're building a curriculum on this alone, it is huge. Okay. In January, at the end of January or February, we have a challenge. So if this is you're still struggling even with how to build that curriculum with your child or for your child, in February, at the end of January, you can join us. Okay. You can register for our personalized education plan challenge, where we'll be taking parents a whole week. We will work with you and we will work together to build a curriculum in the area where you want to build, in the area where your child is focused for the year. So you can build a robust curriculum to help the child go through. So at the end of each month, you're able to look and say, this is what we said we will achieve at the end of January, and we have achieved it. This is it for February. Okay, we've not been able to achieve it. In March, we'll work on it again for another 2-3 weeks. You will see the child make that progress one step at a time when you are focused on one thing. A lot of times, the reason we don't achieve our goals is because we are focused on too many things. The goals are way too many, and so you are not able to, you're neither here nor there with achieving the goals. Number two is learning hard skills and soft skills. Now, this can be it. So you could just decide this year, we want to focus on building the talents, the gifts that our child has. And we want to build even the accompaniment skills, the skills that they need to promote this skill that they are focused on. So let's say your child is into basketball, football, dancing, or music, and all of that. That could be a goal for this year. It could be your big goal, the child's big goal. So that is, you are looking at the child's competencies, you're looking at their talents, you're looking at their gifts, and you're going to hone it. So in January, the child is learning to swim. So you can say, we are focused on this. All right, we're focused on this year. So the child is building those skills. He's There's a time where you're learning about it. There's a time where you are, I mean, you get the child into, a training system. There's a time, I mean, there are goals that are set in those training system, what the child should be able to achieve in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, and all of that. While at it, what are the accompaniment skills that are to go with this? The child is supposed to learn patience. The child is supposed to learn resilience, staying power, and all of that. You're focusing on all of this. So at the end, your child will learn the hard skill and the soft skill that comes with achieving or honing this particular skill to the point of excellence and mastery. So that can be a goal for you this year. All right, empathy. It could be that you want to just focus on empathy for your preteen in the first year or the second year of their preteen. All right. So let's say you have a child who is 9 and you have said to yourself 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. By age 13, I want to make sure these 5 skills are locked in. So at age 9, I'm picking just empathy. All right. So at age 9, we are focused on helping this child learn empathy. When focus on teaching this child empathy. So emotional intelligence is going to come here. Self-regulation is going to come here. All right, social connection is going to come here. So many other things. We can build a whole robust curriculum from focusing, on this empathy, right, as a goal for the year. It could be leadership. I mean, where do we start with leadership? Lifelong learning is going to come here. Reading as what would you call it, cultivating a habit of reading or reading for leisure is going to come in here. Service is going to come in here. Preparing the child for the pre-launch stage is going to come. So there's a lot that will come in here if you decide I want to take just leadership and focus on leadership skills this year. There's so much, meaning your child is going to go for internship programs, maybe once, twice, or 3 times during the course of the year. The child is going to volunteer volunteer for different things. For every holiday, you have something that the child is volunteering. The child is going to do a bit of service here and there. It could be that throughout this year, the child is going to be doing something in church or in the community that you belong to, weekly or every month. So you are focused on this aspect of the child's life. It could be that. And the last one is self-preservation. Now, when self-preservation is the thing, now this is what we are talking about personal development. This is what we are talking about values. Now you're focused on your values. You're focused on values. You're focused on helping the child understand perspective. You're focused on your convictions. So this is the year that you're teaching the child about your convictions around marriage, your convictions about sexuality, your convictions about wealth, your convictions about music, your convictions around dressing, your convictions about tolerance for other people. So all of this, because self-preservation is a goal for the year, we can create a curriculum that is so robust that at the end of the year, your child has learned so much in this area. Fulfillment, personal development, perspective, convictions, all of this. Now, all of these, lifelong learning, all of this is geared towards your child knowing themselves so much and developing or building an identity that allows them to preserve themselves in the choices that they make. So by the time you focus on this area, what you would have done to that child at the end of the year is that when the child has to make any decision in their lives, the first thing that comes to mind is impact and preservation. This thing I'm about to do, does it impact the world or impact anyone positively? And does this align with my identity as a person? Now, if this does not does not align with how I want to be viewed as a person and does not align with my identity, then it means that I can't do it, because if I do, then I won't be preserving myself and my identity. So you see what we're talking about. So these are 5 broad areas that you can just pick one, And that can be the goal for the entire year. Now, these are some of the things we're going to be doing with the children at that vision workshop. So, no child between 7 and 14 should not be registered to be a part of this vision workshop. Come, register your child. All you need is at least, 4,000 naira to buy one of our books or buy the whole bundle, but at least 4,000 naira, and your child is in this. And the child is not paying anything for the vision workshop. Remember, your 4,000 naira is for your book. We did not add a penny to the cost of the book. That's the cost of the book. Buy that. Buy it could be what do you call it? It could be a journal that you're buying for the child, right? So the child gets to use the journal for the entire year for reflection, and that's it. It's for the child, right? It's just that it gives the child access to come for this. Ordinary, the vision workshop is 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira. But this time, you don't have to pay anything, but you must have one of our resources so that we know that you are one of us, or we know that we are on the same page. We know that you understand what we are talking about, or that you are speaking our language. That's what this is about. So get your child on board. All right. The information is on your screen right now, right? So the information is on your screen right now. You need to screen grab that information, and then you can be a part of it. Did I tell you that the vision workshop is just one bonus that comes with buying our book or any of our bundles this period? All right. You have two other amazing, rewards that come with it. You get our 20 days. I thought it was 10, even, and the team just reminded me that it's 20. You get our 20 days, fun reading activity, activities basically that you can use to get your child who is not reading to start reading. You can also use it to have fun reading session with your young children. 20 days activities, so you can repeat this activity every 20 days, and just have fun with reading, so that you're not just reading books and it's monotonous, and all of that. So you can create fun out of reading books. We're big on books and reading books. And then you can also have 7 amazing stories. Okay, I tell amazing stories, so you can have puppet shows, amazing storytelling sessions that we had with children, and you can use this, during this holiday. All right, so why don't you go ahead and get one of these books and get all of these amazing resources, and then the child can also be a part of our vision workshop. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an amazing session with you. I know you got value for this session. Let us know in the comments what you are taking away from this session and applying in your parenting. Okay, let us know that, okay, in the comment section. Have a fantastic rest of the day and have a blessed week. I can't wait to have your child at the vision workshop this Friday. Is it? Yes, it's just this Friday. All right, so we can't wait to have them at the vision workshop. Thank you for joining me today. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye.
Have you ended it? Have you ended it?